Blockbuster films often depict the mosasaur as a monstrous, crocodile-like dinosaur. It is a terrifying cinematic image, but it is biologically incorrect. It was never a dinosaur. Mosasaurs are true squamates. They sit on the same evolutionary family tree as modern snakes and monitor lizards like the Komodo dragon. Scaling a small, four-legged lizard from the shoreline to the size of a humpback whale requires a total physiological overhaul. The path to this gigantism began with a specific ecological crisis that hit the planet during the mid-Cretaceous period. Up until that point, the oceans were ruled by a different roster of marine reptiles, primarily the massive pliosaurs and fast-swimming ichthyosaurs. But a sudden extinction event swept through the seas, eliminating those established apex predators. The disappearance of those giants left the apex predator throne completely empty, in oceans that were still highly productive and teeming with life. This vacuum set the stage for the most rapid evolutionary expansion in marine history. While the oceans were emptying, the dominant predators on land were also vanishing. A group of relatively small, marginal theropods began to grow rapidly to fill those empty terrestrial niches, eventually evolving into the giant tyrannosaurs. This dual timeline reveals a striking synchronization. While tyrannosaurs scaled up on land, small lizards mirrored that expansion in the ocean. Over a 25 million year sprint, both groups packed on mass at the exact same rate, dominating their food webs. This parallel development demonstrates that the mosasaur's size was a direct, predictable response to a wide-open ecological opportunity. When a highly adaptable species is handed an empty apex predator slot and unlimited resources, life builds giants. Moving permanently into the water required a mechanical redesign. Early mosasaurs exchanged their terrestrial legs for steering flippers and developed powerful, shark-like crescent tails that could generate massive thrust. They lost the rough, knobby armor of land reptiles. Instead, they were covered in sleek, overlapping scales with counter-shaded coloring, dark on top and light underneath, giving them open ocean camouflage. But the biggest hurdle was metabolic. Fueling a 15-ton, high-speed body requires far more energy than a standard cold-blooded lizard can produce. They bypassed the limits of typical reptiles through regional endothermy. By generating and trapping elevated internal body heat, they effectively became warm-blooded, allowing for rapid juvenile growth and the stamina to hunt in deep, cold water. To maintain their high metabolism, their cranial anatomy radically transformed to process massive meat. This skeletal reconstruction reveals a flexible intermandibular hinge, allowing the jaw to flex outward to swallow prey whole. Secondary pterygoid teeth functioned as a ratchet, dragging struggling animals down the throat. These upgrades transformed a marginalized coastal lizard into a biomechanical predator perfectly optimized for global sea domination. Mosasaurs branched into dozens of highly specialized species, spreading into every ocean basin on the planet. One species, the lasso-titan atrox, became a specialist that hunted other giant marine reptiles. Fossils of these hunters show teeth that are blunted and chipped, the result of biting directly through the thick bones of large prey. Paleontologists have even found specimens containing the remains of plesiosaurs and smaller mosasaurs perfectly preserved in their stomach regions. By 66 million years ago, mosasaurs had monopolized the top tiers of the food chain. The Cretaceous oceans had become their undisputed empire. On the eve of the asteroid impact, the mosasaur was at the peak of its evolutionary success. Then, the Chicxulub asteroid hit. The impact sent a massive shockwave through the oceans and blocked out the sun, killing off the phytoplankton that supported the entire marine food chain. Gigantism, their greatest advantage, suddenly became a fatal liability. A 15-ton apex predator requires thousands of calories every day to survive. As the food web collapsed, these massive biological engines starved. While smaller, less specialized animals managed to endure the scarcity, the rulers of the sea could not sustain themselves. If the asteroid's trajectory had shifted by just a fraction of a degree, mosasaurs would likely still be the apex predators of our oceans today. Their rise and fall illustrates the price of being an apex predator. Nature built these giants to fill an empty world, but the same specialization that made them masters of the Cretaceous made them fragile during its end.